So all this technology in Windows 7 is very exciting. But most of the functionality already exists in GDI and GDI Plus, and you could do most of the stuff with GDI and GDI Plus. So why even bother?
So there's a couple reasons for this about why it's worth bothering, and the first one probably comes around the mixture of capability and performance. So with GDI, it's a very capable API, no anti-aliasing, had hardware acceleration. We broke it for a while. We've tried to fix it again in Win 7. GDI Plus added the anti-aliasing capability and the support for scalability to try to get rid of raster ops and some other things that were sort of more pixel-oriented. The performance wasn't there. We never really got it to the point where it could be hardware accelerated. And we could have gone back and tried to do more work, but the style of the API and the capability still wasn't quite right. So it seemed better to, again, have an API that fit in with the stylistically with the rest of the family, had all the capabilities and a little bit more of what's available with GDI Plus, and have the performance, and in particular, having it be hardware accelerated and leveraging the other DirectX components for hardware acceleration makes it so that the application performance scales with the hardware, and as we get better hardware, that they can do more and more in their applications. And for the case of DWrite, that we continue to add more sophisticated capabilities, and what we really are is improving the quality of it. And again, we'd like to have an API that fits in with the same family as the style as the other APIs. And so it has more capability in terms of the sophistication in the rendering and support for typography features that is the new capability, and it fits in with in this bigger picture. I want to go back and show some examples of the capabilities that have been added to the desktop window manager and the composition system. So some of these you may have seen in other demos that from the Shell team, that they've done things to improve the window management experience. So back in Vista, we added live thumbnails. Actually, let me start up this video. And in this video, they happen to be demoing the live thumbnails, so I'll just recursively in my meta universe demo the live thumbnails. And so, we've enhanced these for Windows 7, but what I want to do is get across the idea that these take advantage of the retained surfaces, these redirection surfaces that the compositor is keeping, and we, for each of the applications that are running, we draw them as these thumbnails using a texture mapping as a minified view. Now, so we added that in Windows Vista and then enhanced it in Windows 7. A new feature that we added that we had hoped to do in Windows Vista and didn't have time and have now finished in Windows 7 was adding more general magnification capability for accessibility. So if I hit the Windows plus key, it turns on the magnifier, and some people may be used to using the magnification accessibility application from Windows XP and Windows Vista. This is sort of a redo of that, taking advantage of the DWM's texture mapping capability and the composition system and the redirection surfaces to essentially just draw the entire desktop with a magnification filter rather than drawing at normal resolution. And so you can increase the amount of magnification. And again, it's using the live content, so you can see it with the video. And one of the things that we were interested in about the experience is making sure it was fast to get in and get out of, and I think we've made some significant improvements there. There are additional features that I could show that you'll probably see in other people's demos, like the arrow peak, the window arrangement feature, which maximizes a window or can half maximize to half the width or half or to the full screen. And these are sort of a combination of using the capabilities that are in DWM and improvements from the Shell team that's working on the window management experience.
So this is very cool. Now there's another very nice feature that was also presented in PDC. If you hit the Windows and the P, right, you can select a different projector type, and then you also have for developers like multi-mon and remote monitor and stuff like that. So how does this feature, for example, the one we see right here on the screen, relates to what we talked so far?
Okay, so this gets into an interesting area about sort of the lower part of the graphics stack and the driver model and display configuration and the work that we've done there. So maybe we'll pull away from the demo. I'll just quickly show what the interface looks like. That what we want to do is make it easy to be able to configure, in particular, a projector connected to a laptop to switch and make sure that it was either extending the desktop or cloning the view of the display onto the projector, but it also has some limited capability for on a desktop system for switching between multi-mon and not multi-mon. And after we switch away from the demo, I'll talk in a little bit more detail about how this affects the system and what it was we were trying to achieve there.
So David, during the demo you mentioned some lower level parts. Can you describe them a little bit?
Yeah, so the part I'd like to spend a little bit of time on is what we think about is the connecting and configuring displays part of the system, and that's sort of the heart of the WinP key. Mm-hmm. And so, if we look kind of, these are the rendering APIs, and below these that we get to the layer of the drivers and management of displays. And I break this up into sort of two pieces. There's the processing part. So this is how do I render lines and triangles and stuff like that. And then there's the managing monitors or displays. And so the CCD stuff is about this part of the stack. And traditionally, there's the way we think about this is that there's hardware devices plugged in, things called adapters. And an adapter has some number of connectors on the end that allows a monitor to be attached to it. And in the Windows XP days, Microsoft didn't really do a huge amount of innovation in that area. What happened, and this is sort of a repeating pattern, is that our hardware partners and